Motherhood. The struggle is real, and so are we. This is Coffee with Kim with your host, Kimberly Krieger, and me, Heather Taylor, the co-host.
Woohoo!
And today we have a special guest. Kim, tell them who that is.
This is Taylor. Welcome, Taylor. You guys,
Yay!
This is my daughter. Yay! But that's the last mention of her being my daughter. That's in the show, right, Heather?
Yes, from now on, she's my daughter, and I'm going to gloat.
I wouldn't hate it. Well, I love being your daughter. I just love Heather too.
She basically requested that Heather ask her the questions because she think I'd go all mom on her, like, oh, that's such a good answer.
You answered that so well, honey.
I promised.
Yay, honey! Yay!
I promised I'd be professional. So welcome to Coffee with Kim, you guys. It's going to be interesting. We can say that much, right?
It's always interesting, Kim.
It is. We're never boring. So Miss Heather's going to introduce Taylor because I fear that I might sound like a mom. So take it away, Heather.
Oh my God.
Okay. Just so we are very clear, I have no notes, so I'm going to tell you what I know. Taylor is a wonderful mother whom, if I were back at her age, I would want to be. But now I'm at my age, so I don't want to be her, but she's great. No, let's get real. Taylor is, I think, the perfect mom. She has 3 gorgeous little sons, and she's married to the love of her life, and they are absolutely the cutest couple in the world. She has started and run her own business, but she doesn't do it all the time. It's on a strictly, like, if she thinks she wants to do it for you, she might. So give her a call, and maybe she will. And Taylor has definitely had her fights that she's had to fight, and she's come through and survived. And as you can see, she's just the most gorgeous person in the world. And that runs inside and out. So, ladies and gentlemen, she told me not to use her last name, but here's Taylor.
Hey.
Taylor Ray.
Taylor Ray. That sounds kind of...
Taylor Ray is in the house.
My side business
like a
is on
stage
the
name.
pole.
Yes,
Yeah.
Taylor
Yeah.
Ray sounds like a bit of a stage name.
Yeah.
Is that something a mom would say? No.
No, absolutely not.
Not being a mom.
Okay, yeah. You're in the clear here.
All right, you guys, we're going to have so much fun today. Our topic today, in honor of Mother's Day, is motherhood. The struggle is real. And actually, Taylor, you inspired this topic with
Oh, yes.
an incident that you had recently. So we're going to talk about that today. I don't know if we should dive right into that, but all of our guests, and since you've never watched your mom's show, you wouldn't know this, but all of our guests are asked some of the same questions about being extraordinary and who's influenced you in terms of being extraordinary. So we're going to start with those questions. And no pressure on how you answer. Honestly, I'm just a podcast host. I'm not your
Totally
mom.
rigged.
No, it is
totally
not.
rigged.
Who or what do you think makes a woman extraordinary? And I love this question because no 2 women have ever answered it the same way. It's awesome.
No, and we've actually had some really original answers.
Yeah,
Okay,
no
good.
pressure.
Okay. Hey, I think that it's not a secret that women are badass.
Yeah, we are.
We wear different hats and we juggle so many different things. So for me to say, like, I think someone that is like a businesswoman and a mother and a wife and just like someone that wears all those hats is extraordinary. Yes, that is extraordinary. But I think something that makes a woman extraordinary to me and inspiring to me is somebody that does all that and maintains a certain level of grace and humility. I'm really drawn to people that are just like humble.
Oh, and you like me anyway? That's so sweet.
So yeah, to me, like, that really sticks out, and I'm really drawn to people that exude that. So
No one ever said that before. That's an awesome.
No, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I love that.
I could make it through this without crying. I'm already like, oh, that's so beautiful. Taylor.
Okay, you were worried about me?
Do I see tears in your eyes?
A little bit.
Oh, you're so cute, guys.
I can't lie. All right. Well,
It
I
is.
love that though. I think I would tear up at that no matter who said it, because it is truly beautiful.
It is, yeah.
Think about humility being extraordinary, because it really is. It's not ordinary. You know, it's, you don't come by a lot
In the day of
in the
Instagram
world.
and, you know, social media, where you're like putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
Really,
A lot of women don't have, like you were saying, the humility, but also even the modesty and stuff. I think at a certain point we kind of lost touch with that. And all of your girls, I think, really carry themselves that way. You know, they're definitely here and now, but they wear their crowns nice and straight.
Aw, I
They
love
do a good
that.
job.
When I spoke at her church, and I talked about how, you know, one time when I was very embarrassed about a family scandal, God told me as I was leaving the house to go into the community, he said, don't forget to wear your crown.
that
And
totally made me bawl. Because
Me too. I
her,
love that one.
like how she sounds mean, but like how you be, you know, and just. I hate that I can hear myself. It's throwing me off. Can you
yeah,
get rid of
there's
that?
a little feedback on your end.
On my end, that's you guys move your mic a little closer because I can't hear you too well.
Oh, okay.
But I turned the volume down. Tell me if that helps.
Okay.
I have, you know what? I'll put earphones in. That'll help the
Oh,
feedback.
there you go. Then you can hear as loud as you'd like.
Yeah. Sorry, live show.
Is it? Can you
Live
hear us better?
recorded.
Can you hear us better?
Better?
Oh.
Is your feedback better?
How's this?
Better?
Okay, awesome.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead and finish your story.
What was I saying? Oh,
Can
just
you-
like I just remember how things used to be, and I just remember how heavy everything was for her. I mean, for all of us, but especially for her. And it's just like so precious to think that like she had that moment where she was like, yeah, I get to wear a crown, even though my
Oh, now you're gonna make me cry.
Yeah.
Well, when she came over that day after I spoke, she's in my driveway and she goes, and don't forget your crown, you're so precious. And she just started bawling. It was so sweet. So, you know, I love that Taylor, I love that as a young woman, you value things like honor and humility. You know, I mean, that's hard to impart to this generation.
Yeah.
Your
Word.
generation,
It really is.
you know.
Yeah. By the way, like the millennials, are you gonna like talk crap about the millennials?
No.
Totally planning on it. No, I
you
wasn't.
raised them, so.
No, I know.
Oh!
No, I wasn't going to talk crap about any generation.
All right, I'm just throwing it out there.
Okay. So back to our questions. So I love what you think is extraordinary. So who is one woman who's inspired you to be extraordinary, and how?
This is where it's rigged.
Not at all.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it is. Every woman says Kim.
What?
What'd you say?
I said every woman says Kim. It's okay.
No, they
Go ahead.
don't.
Well, obviously my mom, for like numerous reasons, she's always my
Yeah.
go-to person. But honestly, I don't have like one particular person that like I'm really lucky. I have so many amazing older women in my life, and I feel like guilty saying older women, but people that are not my age, just a little older.
It's okay.
Just for different reasons. I just look up to people for many different reasons. And, you know, I have this friend, am I allowed to say names?
Sure.
Okay. Her name is Sarah, and she has like all older kids, and she's kind of like my, I kind of like dubbed her my older sister. And I just really look up to her because she's like totally just like real. Like she admits when she's wrong, and she's, I don't know, I just admire her like authenticity. And I just feel like I can go to her with anything. And it's like, she doesn't ever hold anything against me. It's just like when you're dealing with women, all women are different, but really to the core, all women are the same. You know, women they hold grudges, and
Insecure.
I don't know. She just like takes
Yeah.
me where I'm at, and I take her where she's at, and it's just been like nice having her in my life. And then I also have another older friend who also has like teenage children, Karen, who I just like, I mean, just the things that she's like overcome, and she just carries herself with such like confidence and grace, and but also at the same time, like if she's struggling, she'll be the first to be like, yeah, I don't know. I'm drawn to people that are like super real.
Mm-hmm.
That's because you know that they're not fake.
Yeah.
Everybody, you know, has a struggle.
Yeah. You just totally described my friendship with Heather. Like, totally just take each other where we're at. There is no judgment, you know, like the freedom to be who we are. And that's so rare to find that.
Very rare.
It's so
very, very rare.
Yeah, I'm finding, I think we'll probably touch on this later on, but I'm finding, you know, it's really hard to meet people or meet women and get to like, I don't know. I know it takes time, like building friendships takes time and stuff, but it's hard to meet women and establish a relationship with people and get to that point where you're like real and you like you're vulnerable and you just kind of let it all hang out. And I've been like really discouraged because since I become a mom, I feel like it's a little isolating because even if you make friends with like a mom that has, you know, kids that are older than your kids or younger than your kids, it's everybody's at a different stage in their motherhood walk or whatever, however you want to say it. So it's a little isolating. So I've just been finding it a little bit frustrating to find friends that are willing to like go the distance and like get real and like not, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm rambling, but
no, I think you bring up a beautiful point, don't you, Kim? Because I mean, it's easy to make relationships just to have an entertainment, something to distract you, to kind of, you know, oh, I need this person for my friend and I need this person for my kids, but you're not looking for that. And I admire that. I think that's absolutely fantastic.
I mean, I have like an amazing group of friends. I really do. I'm not saying like I'm struggling in that sense, but it's more like I just have friends that aren't at the same season. Yeah, the same season as me. And that's fine. That's not like a blow to them or me. It's just the reality of the situation. And so when I say that it's isolating, I'm saying like I'm trying to find these people that I can connect with, you know, because when I'm at home with my 3 kids doing whatever, so like my really good friends are working or doing other things, and that's fine. But it's just like I just feel isolated, and it's nice to connect with people on just like a deeper level when you're like in the trenches, as Karen always says. So
yeah, I love that.
Well, and that's one aspect of what's hard for mothers. I mean, you have I think every mom who's home with her kids for any amount of time at all feels isolated. Like even if you work part-time, those hours that you're home doing the mom thing make you feel isolated because it's just you and the kids for so long, or even just on a regular basis. And so finding women to do that part of your life with is so important. You know, and not just like you said, to have distraction or a play date here and there, but like who get it.
Yeah,
you know?
Who you can be like
real with.
Whether or not you're like irritated, not that you want to like talk smack about your husband, but just like you go through all these ups and downs, especially when you have little kids, like more, I mean, I'm sure when our kids are older, it's going to be different things, but in this time right now, you need someone that's gonna take you where you're at, and that isn't gonna like hold things that you say, because I say a lot of things in the heat of the moment where I'm like,
don't we all, honey?
Well, yes, I mean, I know that's pretty human of us, but I don't know, I just people that just understand, really.
Yeah,
I think what I'm hearing, and you and I have obviously talked about this, you know, just having mother-daughter talks about what you know you need in your life from friends and so forth, but I just talk to so many women every day, and it really is kind of irrelevant what stage of life you're in, how many kids you have, whether you work, don't work, whether you're home, not home. it all comes down to this. You need non-judgmental women in your life, non-competitive, non-judgmental women.
That's huge.
Running their own race. They're not
Yeah.
trying to run your race. They're not trying to win your race. Whether it's while you're raising little kids or while you're launching a business or while your kids are teens or you have no kids left at home, you can't have relationships where women are trying to one-up you.
Yeah.
Or it just sucks the life out of everything you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If it's a competition, you need to get out. Quit. And this is coming from the very, like, I'm competitive, yo. But no, when it comes to friendships, and it's something you have to learn, I really believe. Because people, it's not, what are you guys laughing about?
I just told her to scoot up. She just keeps like getting smaller and smaller. And I'm like,
she goes, can you scoot up? I look huge.
Man, I was about to say something profound and that never happened. You just ruined it.
I'm sorry.
It's coming. Here, no, I don't remember what I was going to say, but I think that you are very wise at your young age to invest the time to find out about people before you commit to that relationship, because women do have a tendency to compare and compete, and even, in your face, oh, you're great, but then behind your back kind of do and not even meaning to, but I think sometimes it's a natural, Kim, I can't think of the word, but manipulation. Yeah, sure. Yeah, but I think women do have a tendency to manipulate. I think it was one of the gifts that God actually gave us to help our husbands, but we kind of took it to a new level. But what you're doing, and I just think it's wonderful, you're not just saying, hey, I have fun with this person. You're saying, like, are we supporting each other? Are you going to be that person for me? Watching your mom.
I have a child trying to get ice for his drink right now.
Oh,
that's a big no.
Yeah. But what made me think of that though was Kim, because I moved to Wisconsin, as everyone I'm sure that watches the show knows the story. And I really only had Kim. She was my one and only. And thank God we were like-minded, but because I found that one person, I was introduced to an entire group of like-minded people. And my time in Wisconsin will always be, close to my heart, because I learned so much from these women that it wasn't a competition. It was women uplifting women and women building women, and really for the greater good. We were a sisterhood. And I mean, I've missed that for years and years. I never responded to a group the way I did when I was young. So I needed that. And your mom was young. Now we're old, but we still love each other.
Well, and I think back on those years, and there were, I'm thinking of one friendship I had in particular where I really felt that we had this thing you're describing, like this non-competitive, just really getting to know each other, being there for each other, going through the dark, valleys together. And this friend of mine would just like kind of fall off the planet for a while, and then she'd appear again, and then she'd fall.
She's talking about me.
Stop!
No, I feel like I know who you're talking about.
Okay, that's not the moral.
Okay, I know, but
I share this story with women because on my end, this is kind of a warning. I'm thinking we're in tight, like we are soul sisters. We get each other. And
right.
And I really enjoyed this friendship because this person asked me so many questions and seemed so concerned about me. Well, after several times of this on-off thing, we finally had a conversation where she said, I owe you a really big apology for, these times when I would just vanish out off the planet and abandon our friendship. And I was like, yeah, what happens? Like, why does that happen? And she's like, well, to be honest, I'm just really, I get really caught up in judging you. And I'm like, huh? What?
I know who it is now. Yeah.
And I'm like, so I'm thinking that this is a trustworthy, and what's happening is all her curiosity isn't concern. It's just straight up curiosity.
Judgment.
Judge me and critique me. And then she backs away because she's judged me and deemed me as bad. And then she feels guilty, and then she comes around again. And this happened, I don't know, probably good 3 times. And finally, after the last time, I just decided, what's that saying? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. No, fool me once,
Shame
shame
on
on you.
you.
Fool me twice, shame on me.
Yeah.
And so I decided, well, I just found out why I've had this happen to me 3 times. I don't think I'm going to go for number 4.
Yeah.
You know, so I just decided, you know, the best predictor for future behavior is past behavior. And unfortunately, that predictor wasn't pointing in a great direction for this friendship. And
Yeah.
so I was very okay saying, I have women who, they don't judge me. They know everything about me. I can spew, I can cry, I can whatever. And they pray with me, love me, and encourage me and counsel me. And I don't need somebody in my life who's just gathering facts so that they can essentially, you know, come up with a verdict about me.
Amen.
I say that because sometimes at a young age or any age, you think you have this kind of really golden friendship, but you really don't.
Yeah, I have a few friendships that have been like through the ringer, where we've been through the ringer. And like looking back, of course, like in the moment you're all like, it's them. And then you know, in hindsight, you're like, that was a me thing. And
that was a me problem, not a you problem.
Yeah. And, you know, like, I don't know. I feel like you always told me that, you know, with the whole like wisdom with age thing, you know, and I just was like, no, I know everything. But I'm like, wow.
Hence the reason you got to get older.
Like, well, I mean, motherhood has like changed me in ways that I'm forever grateful for. But like just the difference between like when I had my first kid and like to now when I've had my third, my mindset, just the things that you get so caught up in, like is when you have this like life-changing thing when you become a mother. And
oh yeah
just like silly thing, just such silly things that I got caught up in, and I know that like other people do too. And I don't know if I want to say that it's inevitable that women are going to go through that. I hope that not everybody has to go through that, but it's competition-y. Like, I don't know. It's just, that's how women are. I don't know why we're like that.
Well, it's insecurity.
Yeah.
yeah
And I will say it all day long. Like, no, I'm such a secure person. I'm not insecure, but every woman is insecure.
we all have it. Yeah, we all have it in us, and it's really something that you learn not to do. But I feel like you're ahead of the game. I really do. Don't you think so, Kim? Because she's already acknowledging it.
Right. The fact that she recognizes that this drive to be better, you know, is born out of insecurity. And the cure, the antidote for it is to know who you are in Christ, to be secure in your identity. And then it's like, who cares?
Yeah.
You know?
It took me a while. Like me and my husband just had this conversation. I said, because we were like listening to some song, and I don't know, it said something about like, I don't know, it just triggered like a conversation about like, do you like who you are and are you okay with who you are and whatever. And I'm like, I used to be so like, I wanted to portray this like image, or like I cared so much about what people thought. Oh, that's what it was. Like, do we care what people think? And I'm like, I genuinely don't give a hoot.
That's patootie.
I mean, I care to a certain extent. Obviously, I don't want to like muddy my name, but like other people's opinions are like pretty low on the totem pole, because I don't care. I really do have amazing friends. Like, I have a wonderful mom, a wonderful family. I have a great relationship with my sisters.
Yeah.
And then like I have just like a husband that loves me where I'm at and just would do anything for me. So it's not that I'm finding my identity in the people that are in my life, but it's more so like I know who I am in God, and I know who I am, but it's just the people that I choose to surround me with aren't people that make me question who I am or make me feel like I need to be someone that I'm not.
Yeah, they accept you where you are and who you are.
Yeah, I just think that's really important.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh my goodness. So our topic being motherhood, the struggle is real. We're talking about like the woman's side, the friendship side, you know, what about the actual parenting side? There's that whole matzo ball.
Yeah.
And, you know, just like the pressure in society. So Taylor had this thing happen, and we'll get to that. But I read this article just last week about a woman who was walking, going for a walk with her children. And one of her toddlers decided they didn't want to be on the walk and started throwing a fit. And an older mom, and probably, I think the article said about 25 years older than this mom. This was a blog, by the way, not an article. The blogger says this is a mother who makes it clear she's a mom too, stops to tell this mother what a terrible parenting job she's doing because the child wants out of the stroller and is making his, you know, will apparent. And instead of taking an opportunity to come alongside a younger mother
and teach,
she just puts the final nail in the coffin of this poor mom's day. And I read that going, oh my gosh, the same thing just happened to my daughter 3 weeks ago, or when we were in Florida. So like end of March, it was the end of March. And so I want Taylor to share this story because in my opinion, the atmosphere or temperature, let's say, the temperature on the thermostat for moms is hot. Like people are so hard on young mothers.
I can't believe how boisterous they are about it. It's just
so vocally, like coming out right in public places, telling these poor young mothers, and like, find me a young mother who felt like she had a clue. I had 11 babies, naturally, one at a time. After my 9th one, I felt a hint of confidence come over me. I was like, I think I'm getting the hang of this. After 9, okay? And I started to think I maybe was getting the hang of it. And then I had number 10, and he was a nightmare.
Oh.
And all my confidence just went right out the window, and I was more scared parenting my 10th one as an infant than I was the previous 9.
That is so
Find
funny.
me a mother of little ones who isn't already unnerved, and then you come along and further unnerve her.
Absolutely.
I could just go on and on. But Taylor, tell them what happened. I just can't believe this story.
Heather, you're so right. She totally does do that. Where she into the story and she goes off.
You two are not welcome on the show again.
But I'm the co-host.
It's
We'll
cute.
talk. No, I'm
You're
teasing.
passionate. It's cute.
It's so funny.
No. Oh, you're so precious.
Anyways, so I was at the grocery store, and like mundane things like going to the store and like going to the doctor's office, like those kinds of things used to be so fun because like my kids didn't really like have opinions yet, and they were just like along for the ride, and they're like, oh, so cute, and they're like, oh, like just it was fun. But then they started having like opinions, and then they started like pissing each other off a lot, and so things like going to the doctor and going to the store. I'm sorry. Those things have become like insanely stressful, and I just like have so much anxiety when I think about it. Like when I have to grocery
Let me stop. Wait, I have to stop you. Tell everybody how old your kids are. Let them know what we're talking about here.
4, 2, and 9 months.
Yeah, so we're all under the 5-year-old stage.
Yeah, and this was when like I just have like a fresh 4-year-old. So anyways, they were arguing about something, and we're going through the store, and they wanted a snack, so they're sitting in like the basket of the snack, or the basket of the cart, eating a snack together. I like opened a bag of pretzels. I know people aren't supposed to do that, but I do it.
I do it all the time.
They're eating, and Milo, my 2-year-old, was holding the bag, and he like wasn't letting Mac like put his hand in the bag. So I'm like, okay, like it's time for you to let Mac hold the bag, and he just like had a fit.
Sorry.
We keep it real.
All right, he had a shit fit, and like shortly after his fit started, these 2 cute little old men that were like shopping together, the one guy goes, "What are you crying about?" And Milo just like looked at him and he's like, you don't need to be crying. And he just like distracted him and it was cute. And he was like, you know, I don't know what he was even saying, but he was just like being cute. And the two of them were talking to Milo and he totally was fine. And then we walked away and something else triggered Milo, like, oh yeah, Milo, you were just having a fit. Continue your fit. So then he started freaking out again.
Yeah.
So by this point we're at the checkout and then just like more things were like triggering him. So he was just getting even more mad and he was getting louder and whatever. And at this point I was like almost done. So I was like, just get out of the store. Like
get out of here. Yeah.
I was saying to him, every trick that I knew, like I tried on him to get him to stop crying and he wouldn't stop crying. So I'm like, whatever, just pay and get out of here. So I'm noticing this like line behind me because of course there's one checker because that's just how it always goes. And this line is just like going and going into the aisles. And I get up to the like thing to pay and the man that was like right behind me, I could tell that he was talking, but I couldn't really hear him because I had a screaming Mimi right next to me. And so he was like talking. And then like eventually I just kind of like looked to see if he was talking to me. And he was. And I'm like, what? And he just said, what did he even say? He said, someone should get a leather belt and beat your kid. Oh, he told me to get a leather belt and beat my kid until he shuts up. And I was like,
oh,
like my first initial reaction was like, don't acknowledge it. That was like so yucky. And so I like swiped my card or whatever. And then he just kept going on and on about like putting the kid over your knee and beating him until he shuts up, like whatever. And I just, like looked at him, like I don't know why my initial reaction was to like be like sheepish, like I was doing something wrong, but that was like my first reaction.
Yeah.
So then I like looked at him and I'm like, are you really doing this to me right now? Like
Good
amongst
for you.
this. And he was like, well, somebody needs to. Obviously you don't know how to be a parent. And he like goes off on me about how I don't. I'm like an awful mother because my kid's a brat and, you know, he's like swearing and whatever. So then I just started like crying. And at this point, Milo bit Mac. So then Mac and Milo were both screaming. So it was just like louder. But like amongst all of this, like, I mean, I was being verbally assaulted. Like,
yeah.
I mean, the just the things that he was saying, and like nobody around us was saying anything.
Oh.
Like nobody said like, "Oh, give her a break." Like, so as I'm gathering myself, I leaned over and I said to him, you know, you really could have made a huge difference today. And I said, instead, you just like ruined my entire day. And he's like, well, your kid ruined my day. Now I got to sit and listen to him bitch and moan and whatever. He was just like going off about my kid crying. Like for the 60 seconds that he had to hear my kid crying. I'm like, you don't have to leave with him. I have to leave with this. I'm sorry that I ruined her like encounter with the cashier, whatever. So I was just, I don't know. I've never felt like I just take so much pride in being a mom and,
oh, give her a hug, Kim.
No,
I can't reach her.
No, that makes her mad because then she cries more.
Yeah, when she's like, oh, honey, I'm like, well, there you have it. I'm just going to ugly cry.
Opens the floodgates, so I have to be over here.
Anyways,
I'm the host, Heather, not the mom.
Like, I don't think I am the best mom. I don't think I just know that I do, like, I do my best.
You give it your all.
Amazing.
And that was just, like, something so personal, like, that he just, like, went for the jugular. And I just really, I don't know, it totally caught me off guard. Like, I'm not just saying this, but I never get those kind of comments. I always get like, wow, your kids are so well behaved. Like, wow, I can't believe your kids aren't, I don't know. So I've just never gotten like that kind of response from like a naughty kid. And I know every mom deals with it. But I've just never been like a direct
He's lucky I wasn't there with my life. Yeah. That's all
well, all I could think of was, I hope he didn't have kids, like those poor children.
Was he an older man?
And what?
Was he an older man?
Yeah, and he had like a wife or a woman with him, and she just was like standing there with her arms crossed, giving me this look the whole time, like she was appalled too. And then all the people, like the checker didn't say anything, none of the people in line said anything, and he kept like turning around trying to get everyone to agree with him as he was talking. So it was like this whole front end of the grocery store was like all against me. Because my 2-year-old, my irrational 2-year-old
child,
yes, was throwing a fit. So I like got in the car and I was shaking. Like it just like affected me in such a weird way. Like I was blown away, like by the way that I reacted. I called you and I was like sobbing. I called Kevin and he was just like irate, and I don't know. It was just like a really. And then I don't usually like post stuff like that on Facebook, but I like did this whole post about how like sad I was. And I was actually kind of like,
I just pulled up because I was going to take a snippet from it, but you covered it. I think you handled it beautifully. You didn't, you could have done a lot of things, but the truth is what that tells me about our society, that anybody would stand behind this man and allow him to talk to a mom like that.
Yeah.
What is wrong with us?
Eli, Taylor's baby brother, my youngest son is 13, and we were talking about this at dinner that night. I was telling the kids and Scott what happened, and Eli goes, I totally would have said something. And he goes, Mom, would I have been like in the wrong for like, if I said something to that guy, would that have made me wrong? I said, no way. No. I'm like, you would have been advocating for somebody who's being really mistreated in a public setting, and more than that, it's like, where is the compassion? It is so hard to have 2 toddlers and have them get along all the time. It just doesn't happen,
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen. Yeah, you can have one toddler who just refuses to get along with you. There's not a whole lot you can do about that either, so
well, when I read Taylor's Facebook post, I mean, because I don't think I had heard the story, but I read the post and it just brought me to tears because 1, I know what kind of mom you are and you're amazing. And 2, who hasn't had a kid screaming in the frickin' store and all you want to do is get the hell out of there? Sorry, but you literally just like, I had to bend down and honest to God, I did not know what to do one time. And I was so mad at Brooke because I had to be there. Whatever it was, I had to get, and I literally bent down and acted like I was whispering in her ear. And I know people are going to write me about this, but I bit her. I bit her ear. I was Mike Tyson. I Mike Tysoned on her because I needed this kid to shut up. And, and that's what my point for admitting this out loud is that it wasn't hard.
That is awesome.
I went Mike Tyson on her. But my point is, when you are in a situation like that and you have this child that's screaming, the whole world is looking. You already have all that pressure. Mm-hmm. Like everyone in this whole store hears this child and all they want to do is, did the mom hit her? Is the mom beat, and you're like, I literally just wanted to get diapers and ointment. That was it.
Yeah.
And I whispered in Brooke's ear and I said, you're going to stop crying right now or I'm going to bite you. And I literally bit the kid. I mean, this is now granted, Brooke was my first child. This happened many, many years ago. So don't be calling child service. But anyway, that's how I tell this story to show you. I was so like, I didn't know what to do.
You like get in this like fight or flight mode. Like when your kids are doing that, like there was one day.
You did what you could and you were trying to just get out. This man assaults you and nobody stands. Where were the women?
There was one woman where like as I was like turning to leave, she was like watching the whole thing like with super judgy eyes, and then she like saw me and I was like crying, and then she had like this look of compassion come over her, but then she like looked down and like walked away. Like
like I'm not gonna get involved.
Right. Like, okay, I don't know. I just whenever I see, there's like a meme on Facebook with the chick from Hunger Games where it says like, when I see another mom with her kid in Target throwing a tantrum, and then like whatever that like symbol is, like whatever they say. That's like when I see moms struggling, I'm like, just something lighthearted, like
Yeah.
been there, done that, just whatever.
It
just
gets better.
yeah, it's okay. Like, who cares?
It's come and it's cool.
Yeah, like, oh, it's lunchtime. They must be hangry or something. You know what I mean? Just like some stupid little.
No, that's a bitter, angry old man who has no compassion, probably doesn't have any children of his own, and he just took out his bitterness on you because he could.
Yeah, I know that now. That's like obviously what came out of his mouth was probably a direct.
What was in his heart?
Straight into what's inside.
Yeah.
And I know that now, but just in the moment, it just felt so personal and so like you could not go lower than as low as he went, because I'm like, I don't know.
That's like you attacking his masculinity. I mean, truly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That'd be like you just going straight for his jugular. But I actually have a story to tell you that I saved for this show. I went to the hardware store last week, and I did not expect this, but the hardware store is an interesting place on Monday morning. Yes.
1 in the morning, did you say? 1?
In the morning, on a Monday morning. Like, there's a whole nother, like, tribe of people that shop at hardware stores that I met. And so I'm at the counter, the service desk, and this grandpa, and I know he's a grandpa because he's got his grandkids with him, and he says, these are my grandkids, but he's like grandpa, like white hair, beard, like he looks in his 70s minimum, okay?
Oh, like great grandpa.
Yeah, like great grandpa. And there's these 2 little children, and they look disheveled. I mean, they look like they haven't had a bath or shower. Like, they look like they were eating Nutter Butter cookies in the car seat and sat on them. Like their butts were covered in crumbs. I'm like the full on. And I'm just looking at this going, yeah, grandpa doesn't care if they're eating food in the car seat. He's grandpa, and I'm kind of thinking it's cute. And he's there to pick up whatever. And they're just kind of running around. And he says to the guy behind the counter, these are my grandkids. And aren't they fun? And then he goes, the really fun part is when they go home at the end of the day, And I just kind of giggled. Well, then we ended up making our way to the checkout lane at the same time, but there's 2 lanes, and I'm in line over here. He's right here. And the kids, the 2 little grandkids, and I think he even said they were like 3 and 1.5, or almost 3 and 1.5. And so they're little, and they're over here looking at all the light, shiny, cool, bright things that they have on display right at the level of a child. And they're just like into it. This little boy's pulling everything off the thing, and he's, looking at it. And grandpa, while he's paying, he's calling their names. And I can't recall their names, but he's like, let's just say Jack and Jill. Jack, Jill, get over here. And he starts like hardcore yelling, okay? So like he's yelling at them like he would be if they were all at home. We all know what that means. We yell one way at home and another way in the store. Well, he was doing the at-home yelling. And he's like, and so now everybody's kind of awkward, and feeling a little tense, looking around for the kids. And I, remembering Taylor's story, I thought, let's make this light and fun because this is getting awkward, And so I said, but grandpa, everything that's at their level is so shiny and fun to look at. And I said, right, kids? And they kind of looked at me and went right back to their thing, And he starts saying, get over here. So the little girl, who's the 18-month-old, she waddles up to him and she goes, up. Oh. And he goes, you don't need up. Just wait right there. So she scoots back over to the fun stuff because he says no. So all of a sudden he goes, where'd you go? And he starts yelling again. Can't see them where he is. This is what totally killed me. 2 people in front of me in my line. This man, probably mid-40s, early 50s, shaved, bald head, decides he's going to help. He jumps in, goes over to the 2 kids. These are all strangers, okay? We're all strangers. He goes over to the 2 kids and he goes, your grandpa said to come and he's had enough. Now get over there. And I'm like, random stranger is now doing like,
oh my God.
Like, I thought the young kids didn't have a clue how to parent. I'm like, you guys are putting 2 or 3 generations to shame here.
Oh my.
I'm like, I was getting ready to FaceTime Taylor to say, do you feel better? Because like 50 years on you aren't doing any better at this. Like, it was unreal. So I don't know what happens next. I'm digging through my purse to try to get my wallet out, and it's now my turn. And I end up right at the same checker that the grandpa had. She called me over because the line was shorter. And I noticed that the little 18-month-old girl had decided to run through both automatic doors that opened.
Oh, no.
And so he went out after her and he got her in time. But like, it was not a pretty sight the whole time. It was just mayhem. But I was actually going, oh, Taylor would feel so good in such a sad way right now, because this is actually a bigger train wreck than her thing. And so,
my God.
So I get up to the counter,
I don't know about that.
and the lady goes, did you jump? I'm like, what do you mean? And she said, I thought I saw you jump. And I said, what, when? And she said, when he spanked her. And I said, he spanked her? And she goes, yeah. Is that why you jumped? I said, oh, I didn't realize I jumped. I didn't see him spank her. She goes, he did. And so like, here's this cashier lady and whatever other onlookers traumatized by the way grandpa disciplined the child in the hardware store.
Yeah.
So like you lose either way.
Yeah. I mean, apparently, it's a lose-lose. The bottom line
Kids are just a-holes sometimes. Let's be real.
The bottom line is you can't control little tiny people who have a will and they're willing to use it, It's like, why are people being so hard on each other? And I thought about this grandpa. I thought, think about being 75 years old chasing an 18-month-old. That's
yeah, I know.
You're not 75.
Oh, stop.
Oh,
You're not
quiet.
even 55. But she's 8. She's not 18 months.
She still runs.
Keeps you young.
She still runs.
You
You're
can
so
thank
funny.
her for that.
But
Yeah.
anyway, my moral of the story is parenting is a struggle, and even grandparenting when you're a caretaker. It's just hard. Kids are hard. Caretaker. When you're like babysitting or your grandchild lives with you, like the whole thing is just hard.
I just think it's really sad that us as women, I mean, come on, it's not an easy, anyone who's had a child knows, you start off, they hand you this little baby and you literally don't know what to do. I mean, you've seen babies, you've held babies. Taylor, you had a massive babies underneath you from when you were born. But when they're yours, it is just a different story, So you're like terrified and madly in love, and you want to do everything right. And then to have a stranger tell you, oh, you should be doing this, and especially what he's telling you to do. But by the way, side note, completely illegal. Can't do that. You just can't.
Yeah.
You can't fight him either. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's not. So my point is, I think it's so important. It's like Kim says, with few, it's what I love about few. We like unite and support one another, and we uplift and we encourage, and we don't do the jealousy and all that. And that's what I love about it, because I've had friendships I've had to end. I mean, literally had to like cease, and it's gone, it's over, because of whatever, they're trying to get something I have or whatever the reason is. But I do know when you are doing what you're doing and you're putting more thought into who you're spending your time with, and the fact that you want to be that good mom, because that matters. That's why you got upset, because you care. Yeah. Those are good qualities, and you're doing the right thing. And like the women listening to this show, support one another. If you see a mom struggling in the grocery store, offer to freaking help. Don't make fun of her behind her back, and don't teach her how to be a parent either, because she doesn't need that. She needs you to say, like what Taylor said, hey, been there, done that. It gets better. Or, hey, do you want me to hold the baby while you get the diaper? Do something to encourage and uplift. Help women. That's what we're on this earth for. I mean, my God, people, yelling at her, telling her how to beat her kid is not going to help her. It's not. It will not help. I know. And fighting him doesn't either. I'm not supporting that. It was just.
Okay. Duly noted. All right. I won't try that one.
But anyway, yeah, I'm real passionate about that story because it breaks my heart. And I know I've been in that situation. Kim knows. When I met Kim, I was a train wreck. And all I ever wanted in my life was to be a mom. That was my sole goal in life. And my kids, I'd go over to Kim's house where she had 6 kids under the age of 12, I think. And I would go over there just to get peace and quiet because my 2 kids were driving me up a freaking wall. I mean, that, everybody has that moment where you're like, I love these guys, but I want to kill them. And I know it's not healthy. So
you're just so like immersed in it, like you're just, especially when you stay home with them.
Oh yeah.
So yes, like it's all I've ever wanted, to have children and to be a mom and to be a wife. And, sometimes I feel like when I say that, like I don't put, like I say like, I just wanted to be a mom, or I just wanted to be like, I need to put more emphasis on the fact that that's hard. And that's harder.
Yeah, it's a big job.
I want to be a CEO. Like it is all consuming. Like you literally, I mean, it like wrecks you. Like it genuinely wrecks you. Like I'm in a good way, but also like in a way that you will just never be the same.
Yeah.
But it's 24/7.
Yeah. And like jobs
work and they get to go home. You don't. You're 24/7.
And like you said, like you can leave. I mean, a lot of people bring their work home with them, and like it's not like, I'm not saying that you're not consumed by your job when you go home if you have like a regular person job, because it is consuming, but just being a parent wrecks you like at a different level.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
It softens you too. And
yes.
Yeah. And that makes it hard because you're so softened and you love them so much that you're constantly at am I screwing them up? I spanked him last night. Is he going to die now? Or, should I go wake him up? He had a fever. Is he breathing? I mean, parents have so much responsibility, and it is different when it's your child, and I think if you even care what kind of parent you are, you're doing a good job. I read a thing in Reader's Digest, sorry, Kim, one time that said, if you don't think you're making mistakes, then you're a terrible parent. Because all parents make mistakes.
I know. I actually saw that somewhere too.
Yeah,
I was thinking like the thing parenting does to you, like Taylor's talking about how it wrecks you, it completely humbles you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I just had this conversation actually with one of my best friends. We were over there for dinner the other night, and we just recently got a minivan, and she was like, I like knew that she was going to rail on me because we collectively railed on people that drove minivans. And she was like,
we all do that.
Me and Kevin were sitting there like laughing, like, why do we need to justify this to you? We don't, like, we drive a minivan, who cares? And she's like, the only reason I'm giving Taylor such a hard time is because she was right there with me, like railing on people that drive minivans. And I'm like, motherhood humbled me. Like, I never planned on driving a freaking toaster, okay? I'm sorry. But guess what? Do you know how convenient it is to walk up to park in, like, a really, like, a compact car spot because your door's open, like, on the side? Like, yeah. I always say, you'll never, like, people will be like, how is it driving your van? I'm like, convenient as hell, but you'll never see me with a smile on my face in the driver's seat. It's so nice though for the children. But anyways, yeah, it totally humbles you.
Well, and I was thinking about that. So you're humbled in the grocery store by your children's behavior, and then he humiliates you.
Yeah.
Right?
You don't need humiliation on top of humbling. Like, we get it.
No.
Parenthood makes us feel like absolute failures. We don't need someone then pointing out our failures. It's so insult to injury. Like,
the kids are going to point them out when they turn 18 anyway, so nobody else has to do it.
Your kids waited until they were 18 to point yours out. They're so good.
Good point. Yeah. Well,
this is a question. Was there this much emphasis on like how you parent when you guys were young too?
Well, yeah. I mean, you're always judged as a parent. No matter, everybody has advice. Everybody thinks, that, especially when you're pregnant with your first one, the whole world has to tell you what you should do.
Yeah. Well, all the unsolicited advice was just too much.
Well, the other thing is you have to look back over just our cultural history, and you see that as a nation, there have been parenting trends. Just like there's trends in what you drive and what you wear and where you live, there are trends in parenting. And so there's always pressure on each generation for what the trend is. And, you know, I was thinking about your age group and like people in their 20s right now, there's this huge pressure for you to have these really well-behaved kids, but you're supposed to do everything, have the kids have freedom, like freedom
Right.
to free play, free this, free that, but then your kids should behave. What? How do you have well-behaved kids who get absolute freedom? The messages you're getting from society on how to parent are so contradictory and so counterproductive.
Exactly.
That, you know, I felt like your age group and my grandchildren are being raised not only because of technology, but just the trend in our society over parenting puts such ridiculous pressure on you. You know, what would you say is the main thing you feel from society at large in terms of parenting? Is it don't be too strict, be more strict? Is it, you know, do everything organically?
It's really, yeah, it's that and more like, I don't know, just like, I just keep seeing all these things where it's like, childhood is so hard. Like your kids have all these feelings and they like, let them feel their feelings. I 100% agree with that. Like let them feel their feelings, but like
control their feelings
within a certain box. Like there need to be, I mean, we need to like raise them to be like, you know, contributing members of society. We can't have like grown men.
They're cry closets in college now. Cry closets.
There's safe places in college.
No, I just listened to a podcast, Cry Closets, where college kids can go to have a good cry before their exam.
I should tell Lynn about that.
That is so repulsive. Anyways, I actually, with my middle child, after that whole thing happened, I mean, he's 2, so we're like going through the whole like 2 thing. And he's just very different than my first. My first is very, I mean, he gave us, you know, gave us some issue. Why can't I think of the word?
Mac?
Yeah. He tried us here and there, but he was more so, what's the word I'm looking for? Compliant.
Yeah.
Yes. He was more compliant than Milo. And he's very like rule follower, like nervous, just like, that's just how his personality is, like total firstborn child. And then Milo just doesn't really give 2 craps about what anybody wants him to do or what anybody thinks he should do. He just is very second childy. So
unless I say, oh no,
that just like doesn't work anymore either.
It still works for me.
Okay, well, not for me. So that's what it really matters. It doesn't work for the mother. But I have this friend who, I don't know why, but she just like, her kids are also older. Her youngest is 5 or 6, I think. But the way that her and her husband like parent their kids collectively is just like, it's very inspiring. It's not like their kids just clearly respect them. Like they're fun. They do all the fun things together. They like let their kids have fun and feel their feelings and whatever. But like they are the parents and the children are the children. And it's just like very clear that there's just like this respect. And so I just reached out to her and I asked her just like for some advice. And her response was so funny because she was like, I struggle between wanting to be that like hippie mom that wants her kids to feel their feelings and, you know, I want to like feel their feelings with them, but I also want to be that scary old lady that like throws a shoe at them and tells them to shut the F up. So she's like, I'm trying to find, she's like, I found balance between the 2. And I'm like, it's just very evident in the way that her children respond to her because her and her husband, because they just like have that respect. And that's what I want. Like that's a word that we use very heavily in our house. Like you need to respect each other. Like right. Mac, your foot is touching Milo on the couch and he doesn't want it to be touching him. So you need to respect that. You need to move your foot. I just want that.
Yeah.
I want that. And I feel like, you know, society is like, let them feel, I don't know. It's just very like, we're endorsing all these parents to like, let their kids be little wieners.
Yeah. I think what people forget is that, you know, we're given these children because we are the keepers of them. We're the ones that are molding their little minds. And it is important to let them have that freedom. I totally agree with that. But I also think it's really important to, have standards to where they're allowed to have those feelings. And then
like knowing they need to reel it in.
Yeah. Like Lynn is a perfect example, my middle child. And she was always quiet spirit and really sweet, but she had a very stubborn side to her. And when she would cry, I remember like, okay, that's fine. But if she continued, it was like, okay, you have to go in your room and deal with your feelings. And when you're done crying, you come out. And it was like, it got to be where when she'd get mad, she'd just storm off into her room and just shut the door. And then she'd come back out happy as me, because you can only allow it for so long, it does. But I think what you're saying is completely perfect. You have to give them respect so that they will also respect you. But you also need to be the parent. That's the most important thing. Friendship doesn't come until,
like it's more like you parent these days to be your kid's friend.
Yeah, and that just doesn't work.
Be like a shoulder for them to cry on. And like, well, yes, you should have that to a certain extent. There's just, you need to, like, there's no respect. Like, you just need to have that, like, yes, like, you need to respect them also. But I don't know. There's just a lot of different expectations on moms. I mean, it's all these different parenting methods and all these, like, I don't know. It's just, it's like coming at you from like every angle all the time.
And
like what you should do and what you shouldn't do. Right.
Yeah. And articles and someone posts this thing and then someone posts the opposite.
Yeah. Everybody's different opinions, like on blogs and like, I mean, my Facebook algorithm obviously knows that I'm a mother and has children, because I'm always getting these like random suggested like posts for, someone's opinion on how you should deal with such and such behavior and whatever. But I mean, that stuff is like being jammed down your throat. So you're just constantly like, what am I doing wrong? I must be doing this wrong if this is happening. And I don't know. I would just say like, that's just really a huge pressure on moms these days. And also you have that aspect. Plus then you have like the Instagram moms who are like picture.
Yeah, we didn't have any of that. That's so much more pressure.
Yeah, there's just pressure from just so many different.
What kind of pressure does like Instagram and Pinterest put on you specifically?
Well,
and why?
Me specifically?
I mean, like those specific social media sites, because there's a thing. I'm an Instagram mom. That means something. I'm a Pinterest mom. That has a definition.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's hard for me to speak to that because I'm like a creative person. So like that kind of pressure, I know it does exist, but it like, to me, it doesn't feel like pressure. So that makes me sound, does that make me sound bratty?
No, what she's saying is she naturally takes those kinds of pictures and she naturally does DIY. I'm saying, that's her talent. She's a creative person. I'm just saying like, I don't feel like people always say like, I'm an Amazon Prime mom or I'm a Pinterest mom. Like because of, I didn't even know that existed.
Yes,
I'm an Amazon Prime mom.
Yeah, you are. You totally are.
I'm a Pinterest mommy.
You're the Pinterest mom?
I love Pinterest.
Yeah,
Pinterest.
I do too. But that's not like a pressure to me. But there are moms that are the Amazon Prime moms that are like trying to keep like, just
feeling pressured.
I own it.
Own your.
It's on my doorstep just about every day.
Amen.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like if you're not creative naturally, who cares? Like if you, that doesn't like immediately reflect how you are as a mother. It's just you do things differently.
Because we all have different abilities, right. And someone who's doing Pinterest, like, oh yeah, I made this for Joey and his 5 friends. That's fantastic and wonderful, but if you don't have that ability, don't feel bad about it.
Don't like people like dwell on that kind of stuff. Like, oh, I must not be a good mom because I didn't like, make my kids snack like this elaborate like craft at school. You know what I mean?
To fit in, and it's so sad.
Yeah, it's just like
a girlfriend that I hang out with because Kenzie's friends with her daughter, and she'll say, all the time, oh, I'm not crafty. I'm like, so what? You're so many other things.
Yeah.
Well, she is really crafty, so shouldn't say that. But my point is that embrace what you can do, right. And then find friends who can do the other stuff, and then you'll all be one complete circle when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
And you are so crafty, and her photography, you have so many talents. You really do. No, I'm serious. You are
Thank
just
you.
amazing.
So the Instagram mom, like, is there this pressure not just to look good on Instagram, but to show up to live events looking like you just walked off of Instagram?
Well, actually, we touched on this in my, like, I go to this thing at my church called Moms by Design, and we were just discussing, actually, with Karen, one of my favorite older mommies, but she was saying how, like, somebody made a comment about how, like, I show up places and my kids are, like, dressed and their, like, hair is done. Like, I slick some gel in their hair and, like, push it over to the side, and they're like, oh my God, you're so put together. I'm like, literally, there are, like, mountains of scrambled eggs on the floor waiting for me, like, when I come home. I'm not put together. And Karen was just saying how, like, she said her thing was that she makes the bed every day. She's like, I don't care what happens, I just need to make the bed.
Kim does too.
Yeah. Yeah, you really do. That's so weird. And she's like, that just might be Taylor's thing. Like, before I leave, I need to make the bed. Before Taylor leaves, she just needs to make sure her kid's hair is combed over.
Yeah,
and
you
I'm
care.
like, yeah, like, I could be like, my thing is, before I leave, I need to make sure all the dishes are done. That's not my thing. I don't know. I like, it's just my thing. And every mom has a different thing. Like,
It's fine.
yeah, but everybody's comparing. Like, I basically, I had this analogy where I said, everybody is seeing the like, don't judge people and, like, the way that you think that they have their, like, life together based on how they look and how they appear, because every day, like, when I show up somewhere, you're getting, like, the presented, like, I compare it to, like, wrapping a gift. Like, you didn't see the process of me wrapping this gift. Like, it was a freaking process. Like, you didn't see the ugly, like, side of the box with the one spot that wouldn't fold right. Like, you just, like, what you're seeing is the gift that's, like, wrapped with the bow on the top.
Product.
Yes, you're seeing, that's how everybody sees each other. And if we go off of, you know, what we see, like, the final product, nobody will ever be happy, because everybody's different. And I don't know. I don't know.
I think that's so important that I make sure every time Kim sees me, I look a mess, so she'll feel really good about herself. It's real important for me.
You love me so much.
Yeah, you're such a good friend.
You're such a good friend. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Where was I going with that?
No, I think what you're saying is true, though. You present the best of you, so people assume that's who you are, but it's really not. There's so many layers, and if you want your kids to look good, that's fantastic.
Well, and this is a great segue into the social media thing, because Facebook, Instagram, all of it, it's your highlight reels.
Yeah.
It's the highlights.
And that's
not
fine.
supposed to be like
this
you
heavy
spewing out curse words at your spouse. Like, save that crap for when we don't want to hear it, you know? Like,
right. Yeah, we don't
want to know why you're, you know, mad at your neighbor. Like, all this kind of stuff that people are like, you need to get real on Facebook. No, I'm good. I just want to see your highlights. Honestly, like, that's not a place where I don't want my news feed to be a garbage disposal. I want to see what's good and full of life and full of joy. I know people have real struggles. I'm not stupid enough to look at my Facebook news feed and think their lives are so perfect.
Yeah.
No one's life is perfect. Just like, get over yourself, you know? Like, women who say, oh, Facebook is so fake. You don't want all the other stuff on there. It wouldn't be fun for anybody. Well, it would be fun for the gossips, and that was about it, you know? But that'd be it. But I just feel like it's fine to show your highlight reels in certain situations. You don't need to air your dirty laundry with the whole wide world. And know what Taylor's saying. You're seeing the wrapped gift. You don't know. These people have no idea how long it took us to go live today. It took us forever. Everything was gone. We forgot everything.
Okay.
They don't want to. Okay, we forgot everything. They don't want
the entire time.
They don't need to know that kind of, well, they could know it, but they're going to be bored by it. Like,
I don't know. I think I do agree with what you're saying. Like,
keeping it
if, like, I see people yapping in my newsfeed about random, like, I just unfollow them. I'm like, I don't care. Like, I know that's really that's maybe not nice, but I have my own garbage. I don't need to read all yours.
Right.
But at the same time, there is a level of,
I'm not saying don't be real.
Right. I know. But
Yeah.
like sometimes people do appreciate that. Like, hey, here's a picture of the 6-inch layer of hairspray crust on my counter. Like, I don't know, like just lightheartedly, that's funny. I'm a real person. You know, stuff like that, like is appreciated, I think, for moms, at least, like younger moms, that everything is so like social media based.
Like
and
the
like
picture of the pile of eggs on your floor would have really blessed a lot of moms.
No, I sent that to my friend Ellen because I had to pick something up at her house and she was gone. And so she's like, it's on the counter. And she's like, please don't judge me. My house is a tornado. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, there's literally scrambled eggs like crusted on my floor. There's probably ants on them, like waiting for me. So then she was like all embarrassed. So then the next day when I left the house, I just took a Snapchat of my dining room. I'm like, this is what will be waiting for me at 5 o'clock. Like, don't worry. So like that kind of stuff, I feel like that's important that you're portraying that you, I don't know. It's just, it's such a silly thing that we even have to like discuss this, that this is just like how it is in 2018.
But I think as older women, as you lovingly called us, I think
that's what you are. So you're older than me.
I have no problem with it, trust me. But I think one of the neat things about it is we've come to own ourselves a little better. You know, we just get that right. The older you get, the more you just kind of stop accepting what other people expect you to be, and you start owning who you really are. And it's so freeing. It really is.
Yeah. Like I used
to. It also helps women like your age, because you guys see women like your mom, for instance. You have such a great role model. You can look at her and go, okay, I don't have to be perfect all the time. And I can still be a role model for these, you know, younger women that are watching you. Like people see you and they're like, your life's perfect. Everything's perfect. Well, everybody's life has a bump. Everybody. Doesn't matter who you are. And you're doing a great job mastering that because you're being real. You're saying, hey, I have, you know, scrambled eggs on my floor. And I trust you. Trust me, I have scrambled eggs on my floor too. But Kim and I get the luxury of going, okay, yeah, we screw up sometimes, but it doesn't even matter anymore. And I hope that you can do that for women that are younger than you, because it's so important for them to know you don't have to be perfect all the time, but be real. And like, you know, don't air your trash out on, I hate when I see these, oh, so-and-so did so-and-so with so-and-so on Facebook. We could all write those posts. I promise I could write a novel. I really could if I wanted
to. Original, right?
You know, right? Exactly.
When I was like a younger adult, I always found like if she would make any kind of mistake or like whatever, I would just, I mean, it was like my world was shattered. Like I was so hard on her because like she was the mom. Like moms don't screw up. Guess what? Moms screw up. And like now I'm learning that. I honestly have had multiple conversations with my 4-year-old, like me apologizing. Like,
that's so good
that I said that. I'm sorry that I reacted that way. I'm sorry. Like mommies have bad days too. And like now, but it's just funny how people like have mom. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. Like people just have moms up on, how do you say it? Pedestal. You always tell me I say it wrong.
No, you're absolutely right. And you know what? The respect that you want your children to have for you, that's how you earn it, by admitting your flaws when you make them. Brooke told me one time when she was 8 years old and I decided to go to what the Bible says about child training. You know, that book, you gave it to me. But anyway, I literally sat her down and I apologized to her because I had done so many things wrong, and it was done out of love. I mean, honestly, one of the things I was apologizing for was not disciplining her, because I mean, I was under the impression that when you spanked someone, it was anger and I didn't want her to be mad, you know? But what you're doing, and at such a young age with your kids, they're going to respect you because you're doing it. You're admitting, hey, mommy's not perfect. Mommy makes mistakes, but mommy loves you. You know,
and I'm not saying you never did that. I'm just saying like, it's so easy to put moms up on this, in this place where like, they're not allowed to make mistakes, but like, just because they're like raising other humans, but that's just not like, we don't have room to be selfish in motherhood. We really don't. Like, there's just no space for that. but like,
True.
what'd you say?
That is so true.
Yeah, but like we need to like realize that, you know, I just feel like that having that like mentality, there's just this like pressure to not make mistakes, and it's just not real. It's not realistic to even think that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
So motherhood, the struggle is real, and it's on many, many levels.
So many levels.
So Taylor, what would you say to moms really of any age, but you know, particularly young moms who are facing some of the pressures you're facing? What would you say to encourage them today?
I would say find a older mentor type mom who's like been through it. You know, I always say like I'm trying to find someone to like go through it with me. I mean, I feel like anyways, just having somebody to lean on and just somebody that like understands, because I mean, the roller coaster of emotions that you go on as a young mom, and when you're like trying to figure out, when you're like adding more kids to your family because you're, you know, it's just like this season, everything is like changing, ever changing, just like all the time so I don't know, just finding somebody that you can lean on would be a huge encouragement to anybody, really. I mean, that's kind of goes without saying, but did you ask me?
How would you encourage them if they're struggling today? Like if they feel like a crappy mom?
Well, if you're thinking that you're a crappy mom, then you're not a crappy mom, because crappy moms think that they're doing it all. They think they're great. So if you're concerned about it, I'm just going to go ahead and say that you're a great mom. If you have that thought cross your mind.
Good for you.
That is such good advice. I'm choked up. Moms of all ages need to hear that, with kids of all ages, you know, that if you care, if you question, if you second guess everything you do, then you're a great mom.
So
moms
true.
who are like, I got this, and they don't put any thought into all these horribly hard decisions you have to make as a mom. Yeah, like I still am not there. Whatever confidence I had when Ella was a baby is so gone. And Ella's gonna be 16 this year. There are some things I know to be true about humans and things to be true about kids, but to ever get to a place where you feel like you know just what to do in every situation, never. Because every kid is different, every circumstance is different. You change over time, the kids change over time, and no two things or people or circumstances are ever alike.
Yeah.
It's a case-by-case basis from the time they're born until you die.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
Yeah. I think the most important thing in my life has always been what my kids will think about me when I'm dead. And it's a pretty big standard to live up to.
Not morbid or anything.
Yeah,
thanks for ending us on that morbid note.
Yeah,
followed by her evil laugh.
My point was, no, I think when you have that expectation and you're going through life, I want my kids to, I've told it, okay, so it is morbid. Okay, we're going to go there. I told my kids, when I die, I don't want a funeral. I want a party. I want an Irish wake. I want everyone to take a shot of whiskey, and I want each person to tell a funny story about me, because that's who I was, That's who I want to be when I go, but I want to be a mom that they loved, and I want to be irreplaceable, Yeah. That's always been my goal. And I think when you think that way, you tend to live that way, I
agree.
So
I said something like that recently, that I wanted my funeral to be a party, and man, did I get shut down.
Well, if my mom died, I feel like everything would be shattered.
I'm not allowed to talk about my death.
No, it's not happening.
I talk about mine all the time. It's going to happen. Got to face it.
Well, we have been so completely blessed having you on the show, Taylor. And thank you for being so real about.
Sorry for swearing. Sorry for swearing, Sue. She's who I really worry about.
That's so cute. I'll have to tell her, watch till the very end. Yeah. There's a mention, Sue.
Yeah.
All right.
Actually, Kim, before we go, I need to mention a couple people, because we put a post and asked people to tell us what was so extraordinary about their moms. And I just wanted to shout out a few of them really quick. Can I do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to put my glasses on, y'all.
Y'all.
Cheryl McCrae England, who was a very good friend of mine when I was working as a fake nurse, her mom,
Best
her name
fake
was
nurse.
Pam, and she was just the absolute best woman in the entire world, by the way, and very funny, just really loving. I used to call her Ruth because she reminded me of Ruth Buzzy, which, so anyway, she said that her mom just had the greatest sense of humor, and she was just strong and wonderful, and she loves her, but her mom did pass away.
Oh.
I know. And then Kathy Carter said her mom is 87, independent and resilient, and she's outlived 2 men in her life, and she's still going strong. So happy Mother's Day. I think her name was Frances with an E, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
And she said, I can just hear my mom saying that. And then Candace Moe said that her mom is very extraordinary for her perseverance in Christ.
Yeah, Margaret Moe, she was one of my co-authors in the devotional Holy, Whole, and Fit.
There you go. And then Tamara Fink said her mom is quiet but fierce. She has a gentle strength that no one messes with in her family, and that she adores all her, but we all adore her, and she loves to spoil us. So I think that was, that's the few that I could read right now. But happy Mother's Day to all of you ladies. You're all amazing. And I happen to know every one of those women, and they're all amazing. So you did a great job.
Yeah.
And Kim, I know you did a good job because I know all your kids. And oh, and happy Mother's Day to my mom, who is still doing a great job, and I love her very much. And she taught me everything I know about being a mom. So
it's just
Happy Mother's Day to you.
Happy Mother's Day.
Love you.
I'm proud of my daughter, and so thrilled that on Mother's Day, one of my kids can really relate to the day. Like, it's so weird to think my daughter gets this day and what it's all about now, you know, and now this day is like really our day. We kind of share it.
I know. Me and the girls were talking last night about what we want to do for Mom on Mother's Day, and Kelsey's like, what do you want to do?
Yeah, like now we share.
Do I have to like not plan Mother's Day anymore because I'm a mother? That'd be awesome.
I think so. I think you've earned that because she always planned it for like 20 years, at least 22, 23 years.
Yeah, like starting from the time I was like 5.
She's always been so sweet that way, though. You're doing
does.
a great job, Taylor. I just want you to know that from someone other than your mom. I, have been lucky enough to watch you these past couple of years, and I'm in love with you. I think you do a great job.
Thank you.
Very special. I hope I can be the mom you are one day.
Thank you.
You're welcome, honey.
All right, you guys.
Crying.
Now that we're all crying, we're going to sign off.
God, why am I such a wuss?
Oh, because you get it from me. So happy Mother's Day. Don't forget that you're extraordinary.
And tell your story. Have a great day. Treat your moms wonderful. We love you.
Happy Mother's Day.
We do that together.
Okay. Bye, Miss Taylor.
Bye, Miss
Ready?
Taylor.
And you do it too. Ready?
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. I went the wrong way.
All right. We'll try that again some other time.
Okay.
Happy
Bye,
Mother's
Miss
Day,
Taylor.
y'all.
Love you.
Love you.
Such a cute picture of you.